Do you like doing this for fun?
Do I? Huh?
Do you like doing this just for fun, or is it like
No. I'm like because I work in
you're
the
trying to
hospital.
write a book?
Yeah, I'm trying to
Specifically, that's
promote the book, but also like my YouTube. I want to like change it more towards that. I started off doing like I went to Thailand, then I wanted to do
okay.
like travel vlog, but I realized that you can only do we only can do vacations for now like 2 times a year just because of work schedule,
Okay.
and it's like, man, what could I do like in between until
Okay. Got
public
it.
interviews?
Yeah, that
And it,
sounds cool. That's a good.
yeah,
That's a good segue.
and it helps with my book because like I have peers that are, like my age, and I have a good relationship with their like significant others, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
They're like in the 30s or whatnot.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like confusion and a lot of different ways of thinking, and I always have to like explain things to like their significant others because
Mm-hmm.
like I don't have any consequences.
Right.
If they do, they can't say what they're thinking. But I can.
Right. You can easily do whatever you want. There's no one to like stop you from saying it.
Exactly.
I get it.
Yeah. But
I get it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with that said,
Uh-huh.
okay. Actually, let me take this off. Oh my god. Okay. First of all, thank you for taking the interview.
Of course.
Can I ask you, how old are you and what is your name?
Of course. So my name is Diana. My birthday was actually yesterday. I just turned 30 years old.
Happy related birthday.
Thank you.
Happy related birthday.
Thank you.
Okay, so you 30 is very young still, but you take care of yourself. How important is health for you? I see you're at the gym, and how often do you work out?
Yeah, I would say about 4 to 5 times a week. I do try and make it a priority. So I work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, for example. Always have worked a corporate life, but I'm very into not just fitness, but health in general. So my major was health science. So
Oh wow.
I was going to do pre-med, decided against that. So I've always had the holistic aspect of wanting to go into something like that, just never did. So I kept in terms of, staying healthy, eating healthy, taking really good like supplements if needed, which I honestly don't really take a lot of supplements, but if I do gravitate to that, I need some more extra boosts and like vitamin D, vitamin C. Like I make sure I look at the ingredients and everything that's in it before I actually take something. So yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. You know something very not funny. I'm not gonna say funny, but something very interesting. You know BMI, right?
Yes.
So I think currently now with like the choices we have for food and everything, 30 plus, the average BMI, I believe we're supposed to be overweight. Like I really think that's what the average is right now.
I think it is. I think
that's crazy.
they'll change the numbers also based off of the average mean to essentially make society feel better. Also with like sizes in terms of like clothing. You'll see a lot of sizings. They've changed it from like what's actually small is actually an extra small, and so on and so forth. So
yeah.
It's the new standard.
Yeah. So I know you say you take supplements, right?
Mhm.
Do you, because I know, first of all, what do you do for work, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I'm a healthcare recruiter. So I recruit a lot of nurses and a lot of these specialty like doctors and anyone with a doctorate degree to work in school settings.
Oh wow. Okay.
So yeah.
Wow. So what, like the busy schedule of work, are you able to like maintain a healthy like eating habit? Like do you follow the pyramid, like 5 servings of fruits and vegetables, or are you like me where it's like challenging and there's a Burger King, I gotta go to work,
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like I love like making sure that I take care of myself. Do I still indulge in like going out to dinner or like, things that I'm big on seed oils, right? Like seed oils are not a good thing. Can I avoid it? Am I gonna like never go to a restaurant again? Absolutely not. I love good food. I'm a big foodie, but also during the weekdays, I'm going to make sure that like, I don't agree with like a lot of vegetables. If you're gonna eat vegetables, me personally, I'm gonna eat probably broccoli and carrots and things like that. but like things like salads and like lettuce and arugula, like there's a lot of studies done where that really just doesn't benefit us at all. It just has a lot of pesticides in it instead. So I don't really do a lot of veggies, honestly. It's mostly a carnivore diet and fruits, and potatoes and rice. But that's
I have to copy you. You know, I don't like lettuce anyway, so I have to copy you.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I ask you, are you single, married, or what is your status in that aspect?
Yeah, I am single.
You are?
Yes.
Can I ask you, okay, you're young, that's 30, but why are I know this is like a broad, you know, this is like a broad question, but why are you single at 30? Like what's
Yeah, great question. I think a lot of my years when I got into a relationship when I was 17. From that age, I was in a relationship for about 6 years from there. After that, I didn't really have a lot of time before I really got into my next relationship. And all of my relationships lasted about a year or two. And then dated a few people here and there. But it wasn't up until, I would say, 2023, so 2 years ago, where I was really just like, I need time for me. Like, I need to know what it is that I want. Clearly, what I'm doing is not working. And I'm glad it didn't work, because if I were to be with any of those people now, it just wouldn't have worked out. I'm a very different person now than I was years ago.
You know what? That's really interesting and amazing that you say that, because I tell that to people all the time, right? I'm in the same, you know. Well, I told.
How old are you, by the way?
I told YouTube I wouldn't tell it by age.
Okay.
Let's say we're in the same bracket. You know, we're in the same bracket.
Okay.
But okay, like I tell everyone that you're a new person every 3 years, every 3 to 5 years. Everybody's a new person every 3 to 5 years. Nobody believes it until 3 to 5 years go by. And they're like, yo, who is this? You know, but we're a different person every 3 to 5 years. I agree with you. There are people, you know, years ago where it's like I really thought that, you know, it made a lot of sense, and I wish that it lasted it. But then, like, looking at it now, it's like, yo, I'm glad it didn't last, because like it just, like, right now, like, I'm okay now. Like I needed that time alone, and, you know, like, travel the world, learn myself, get a little established into like my career and whatnot. And you made a good point there. Like, you need that time to yourself to think about it. So can I ask you, what are some, let's say that you met a guy or something, right? What are some red flags that you see in guys these days that keep you away? Like no, I don't want to.
Oh my gosh, I feel like anything nowadays will just set me off, and not in like a way that's like, I'm not gonna like say anything to them, but I'm like, I can tell within the first
2 seconds,
literally first seconds of an interaction, whether or not I would go on a date with that person, right? Not even like, yet alone just getting to know them. Like, I don't have enough. I do have time, but I don't have enough time, honestly, to dedicate hours throughout my day to talk to these people. Like, if I'm going to talk to you, I'm going to talk to one person. It gives me anxiety to talk to be on dating apps, which I've tried. I can't stand. I've tried dating apps. I've tried, and I've only done it sporadically, every like 2-3 months, and I'm like, I'm so over it. Like, everything is just doesn't go anywhere, and it just doesn't seem like there's too many options, right, that people have nowadays. So it's like, as soon as someone doesn't talk to you anymore, it's not like someone's texting, why aren't you texting me back anymore? Like, it's just, they don't. You're ghosted, or I go, and it's just like, no one asks why you interact with them, why you don't interact with them, what happened. It's just so different nowadays. So I don't even bother to get to know someone if in the first, like I said, couple seconds, I'm like, okay, I'm actually interested in getting to know them. I could tell pretty easily, which is honestly why, and I'm very picky, because I feel like this generation too has steered a lot from God. So that to me is very important.
Has steered a lot from where?
From God. So I just don't think that would ever I've dated people that have not been religious, and it just hasn't worked out for me. And where I am now in faith is so different than I was last year, let alone 2 years ago. Like you were saying, people change every 3 to 5 years. I change like every 6 months probably into like and better, right? We're always trying to improve, and sure, we like backslide and things like that. But yeah, it's just, that's the only thing I care about at this point. If you don't have that, that to me is just like the base standard. And so if you don't have that, there's no point in me getting to know you.
I got you. So your red flag is like if they don't have like God. If you were to put like you would say,
well, here's the thing. People can believe in God, right? People can believe in Christ. People can believe that, be like, oh yeah, like he definitely was a person that, you know, came onto this earth and preached, and some people think he's a prophet. But there's a difference between believing that and actually like following that, because I can say that for myself. I believed that my whole life, but did I actually follow it? No. Up until, you know, a couple of years. So very, very different. Like someone can tell me, and I tried this too, that they, you know, believe in Christ, go to church on Sundays. That's great, but at the end of the day, you're just like everyone else. Like what sets you apart from them? And so now it's just so easy to tell whether someone is truly dedicated or not. So that's been, for me personally, what I am looking for.
That's cool. That's cool. So can I ask you, as honest as you can, answer this?
Sure.
What are like would you tell YouTube like what are some this is a funny question.
Okay, I'm here for it.
If you could answer honestly, you can go, you know, what do they say now? This is a judge-free zone, you know,
Yeah.
all that stuff right there. What are some red flags that you would say like that you have that, you know?
Oh my gosh.
If you were to give like, you know.
Oh, 100%. I have many faults.
Like do you have like schizophrenia? Yeah. No.
I totally get it. I'm working on it, obviously, but I am not a very patient person. I do like things a certain way, and so I don't think I can be patient with the right person, and I've had that before. But a lot of things just are so, I think I get irritated too easily nowadays to where it doesn't make me patient and I come off very strong. I do have a very strong personality in general. A lot of the things that I say may come off harsh. I don't mean it that way. It just comes off that way. So I'm working on verbiage and patience, I would say. Those are probably my main big red flags for sure. And I know I have many more, but.
Got you. So what is like verbiage, right? What is the last like thing that you said that if you don't, you know, what is the last thing that you said? Like, did you?
I would have to.
Like you just like had like big ears or something, and you told them that? Or,
oh my gosh, no, nothing like that. It's more so like if someone interprets something wrong, or if someone says something that I wish I can give you an example of what it is that someone said that I've just like kind of like shut them down really fast before like actually asking. I'd be able to tell you, but I can follow up with more questions.
No, I got you.
Before just answering, right?
I got you. To tell the truth, I think that a lot of women, you know, in our peer age group, they have that same, you know. Are you kind of saying that? Because I have friends that, you know, like they have situations. Are you kind of saying that you assume things, you know, respect? Are you kind of saying that you assume things and then like you're verbal about? Is that kind of what you're saying?
I wouldn't say I would.
And you might be right in your assumption. Like
things. I will say I have done a lot of assumptions before, but in particular, like speaking to this particularly where I'm talking about like patience, it's more so like you rubbed me the wrong way with what you said, and I'm not here for you to explain it at this point because I just don't feel like I have that time to like. If you're already decided in what you said, like I'm not gonna sit here and explain, right? So I'm big on valuing my time. So that, I think that's why I kind of just shut it off where it's at then at that point. Because if you're not going to hear me out, then there's no point, and I'm just going to be blunt about it and be like, nice to have met you. That's it.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. So do you I don't know if you have like much friends, but like do you ever feel like pressure to be in a relationship or like married or anything, or is it like, yo, I'm going with the flow, I'm healthy, I'm not too worried about that?
Yeah. If you would have asked me this maybe, 2 years ago or last year, for example, I would have freaked out saying like, oh my gosh, I'm almost turning 30. I'm almost in my 30s. Right. And a lot of my friends are married. A lot of them have kids. So that's where they're at, and they're around the same age group as, we are. So, if you would have asked me that a couple of years ago, I'd be like, yeah, I would love to find someone. But here's the thing, like, I always say I didn't like come this far to just come this far and just
that's really cool.
Take anyone that gives me the attention. Like, I don't need attention. I'm not looking for the attention. It gets you absolutely nowhere. So it's important to make sure, like, when you're picking your spouse, it's someone that you can like trust. Like, if you're gone at the end of the day, you can trust that you guys are on the same page in terms of values and beliefs and things like that, to where you're not going to stress out about how you're going to raise kids and things like that. So I'm very content and very happy with where I am at in life. And like, my heart is, I always say this, my heart is already full, right? And that's because of like Christ and my faith and things like that. That's already filled my cup. So if you want to add to that, great. If not, like, I am so good. So yeah.
Oh, I got you. Mm-hmm. You kind of remind me of a question I meant to ask a lot more people, but okay, well, first let me ask this. Do you feel that it's important to have roles, like a guy should be like masculine or a female should be like feminine? Do you feel like that's important in situations?
Yeah, absolutely. I think nowadays, and I can very well say that about myself too, right? Like, okay, well, you're being less feminine by being too stern about certain things, or being too, it's my way or the highway, right? Which I tend to not do anymore. But there are certain things where you do have to hold your ground in terms of like beliefs and things like that. But I do think, like, just in general, with like the very small things in terms of just being more feminine, like, women are losing that and men are becoming more feminine, and they want the 50-50. They want to be treated out too much. Great. I'm glad you want to feel appreciated, but at the end of the day, like, why do you think our divorce rates are so high up? It's not even at 50% anymore. It's way higher at this point.
Yeah, it's like, it's at least 60 now.
Yeah. And so we got to look back and come back to like, okay, well, what worked before? Why do you think arranged marriages worked before? At the end of the day, there was no such thing as divorce, right? They were set in that way. They didn't meet each other up until, the day of their wedding, because they knew they had to make it work. So I think nowadays people find anything to just leave, right? Because they have so many other options that they can go to. And so they don't stick it through with the person that they are with. Granted, there are certain instances where, divorce might be an option if you're, in an abusive relationship, they cheated on you, like, understandable. But that's where we're at in society. Like, you made me upset, I'm leaving. And for, just because of the lack of communication, for example, people don't wish to communicate anymore. And I think that's why there's so much miscommunications, because we're constantly on our phones, right? We're not talking to each other face to face anymore. We are just distant from each other. And I think that's caused a lot of friction between, males and females, and being in that committed relationship with one another.
You're a really good life observer, because I agree, and I tell everything you just said. I tell people that you say like attention so you think too much attention is dangerous, whether male
Hmm.
or female? Because like I saw, was it around COVID? I was in a relationship, and when you have too much attention, it's hard to take,
Yeah.
and especially well, also females too, like when you like, let's say like they're like 21 or something, right? It's a lot
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
attention or whatnot.
Hmm.
I seen a lot of stories where like it's so much attention where everybody can't take like this one person serious, and then like um, I can tell you this because you take care of yourself at 30 and whatnot. But let's
Hmm.
say like all those guys that gave them attention at 21, they're like body shamers or something or whatnot,
Mm.
right? And then when that
Yeah.
lady turns like 27, those are those weird guys that say like, oh, she doesn't look the same, and then it's
Yeah.
like, damn, like she thinks
Hmm.
like, damn, I had all this attention, and,
Hmm.
but also guys too, like don't get me wrong, like I'm happy I'm not with the lady I was talking to during COVID,
Hmm.
but if I did, want to like long term thing with her, attention would have been like my destruction because
Hmm.
like we said we got options. Everything
Yeah.
everything has pluses, but everything has like a bad side to it because like when you
Hmm.
have options, it, in
Yeah.
5 years those options like
They
kind of like
change.
messes up. Yeah,
Yeah.
it messes
Yeah.
us up.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. And I think people too, like, that being said, it's like people change too, right? But the problem that we're having is we're not committing to this person. We're not getting married to this person at this point. So if you're not married to them, you're always going to have in your mind, I can always leave, right? I don't like something, I can leave, I can go find someone else. And we're constantly changing, but we're supposed to be changing with that person that we're already committed to, we're already married to. So that's why I think it's so easy. People spend, for example, with me, like 6 years with someone. Granted, I was very young. I started dating them when I was 17, but, you don't make that commitment. It's like, well, of course, someone's going to get tired and bored with you because at the end of the day, they can leave, like, and find something new and different and fun and younger and pretty, right? Like, there's so many things. So it's like, it doesn't matter anymore with like, go ahead, it looks like you.
No, you said something because like, okay, everything you said is making sense. That's why I made that facial expression, right? Before I say this, let me say you mentioned something like kind of like roles have turned into like why things don't work out now because like dang, I had to say this on YouTube and I hope I don't get like in trouble because of it. But let's say like people want traditional results, but not traditional practices, right? Like
Yeah.
like if men can't be masculine and if like females can't be feminine, like how I guess you could say our grandparents were. Like, how are we going to have the same results? Like,
Right.
yeah. How are you?
Yeah.
But can I ask you? Okay, so you're 30, right? What is your age range as a 30-year-old woman?
What is it that I'm looking for
Like
in terms
age,
of
as far as age.
an
Yeah,
age? You can't be like, okay, 25 is fine, right? Because it's like they're just not, unless they're there where they're at, and what I see in my future, and you're ready to have kids and you're stable and you have a great job and things like that. I mean, it's hard to say, like, I'm not going to necessarily put a number, but there's technically, I guess that's also like assumption to, to say like, okay, well, this person's 25. They're not going to commit. They're not ready for marriage. They're not. It really just depends where someone's at. The odds are, though, that they're not at that point in time. So I can't just say any number and say like 23 because it's like, are they going to be there? But also, like, you also have to be mature too. So I would say 3 to 5 years is the range.
Or are you saying,
I don't
like,
know if I would do. I would probably say 3 years minus, and then 5 to 6 years plus.
Oh, okay.
Of where
I got you. I got you. Can I ask you? Because a lot of guys have this question, like, okay, what do you think? And I mean it because I know a lot of people on YouTube ask it with like some like hatred in their heart or whatnot. But what do you think is the benefit for a guy, especially like a millennial or whatnot, Or Gen Z, is that what's after like a millennial?
I don't even pay
I
attention
don't know.
anymore.
Yeah. Well, like let's
Yeah.
say, what is the benefit of a guy to get married? What do you think is in? What is the benefit for a female to get married?
Yeah. In terms of a guy to get married, I would probably say, are they ready to commit to one person their whole life? Are they ready to start a family, right? Like, I'm very traditional in that regard. So, can they provide for me and the family?
Let me pause you there. Okay, so
Yeah.
provide, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Okay, like, and of course the answer falls on like how many kids like people want to have or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is like an income for a guy to provide in in America?
At the end of the day, like, I don't care if I need to move out of California, because provide to me is like there's a roof over my head and I can have kids and we can figure it out. At the end of the day, too, like, I believe in God, so I believe that He takes care of a lot of things. Like, am I going to stress out like, hi honey, we only have $100K in our bank, but we're going to have 3 kids, or we just got surprised with twins? Am I now worried about that? And am I going to, go and like work if I need to? Like, sure. But my big thing is like, we as women should not feel pressured, and you two might hate me for this.
No, they're
and
not
I am
gonna hate
totally
you.
okay
No, they're not gonna hate you.
with it. But I am like I said, I'm a very blunt person. Like, you ask me a question, I'm going
You
to tell
gotta be
you.
blunt. Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta say it.
So I believe in the traditional values of a man taking care of a woman. Do I want to work my whole life? Absolutely not. I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I want to raise my kids because I don't want anyone else to raise them. And I want to make sure that I keep them healthy and, occupied and safe, and teach them all the things that I would have loved when I was brought up as a kid, to have for them as well. So you can't do that working a corporate job 9 to 5, right? Like, that's just, anyone to say that, yeah, you can do that Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, that's a lie. Anyone can tell me that. I don't believe it. You're not going to be raising your kid. Someone else is going to be raising your kid then.
No, you're not.
And
lying.
if I'm going to have kids,
Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
going to raise them. They're my kids, right? Not to mention, I don't really trust anyone to raise my kids but my own. Yeah, at all. I mean, I know so many things about schools in general. Like, people are like, oh my gosh, never homeschool your kids. Yeah, they will be
You
homeschooled.
prefer to homeschool your kids because of like
I will be teaching them
the crazy stuff you see on the news, and
yeah, I'm okay with that. Like, I don't need to have them. If they need to interact with kids, like, they will interact with kids. I'm not just going to keep them in the house all day. But I also don't think it's a lot of kids these days, they get diagnosed with ADHD and autism and things like that, which, some are valid, some are just putting them on medication because they can't sit still in class. And it's like,
that's true.
What do you expect? They're 5 years old. You gave them a fruit roll up.
Yeah.
And now they can't sit still in a classroom for 8 hours a day. Yeah. They're a child. They're supposed to be outside.
Yeah, and it's a business.
100%.
Yeah. So can I ask you, and I mean this respectfully, but I know a lot of YouTube guys, they ask it with like ill intent, but I honestly want to ask, what is the benefit of a guy to get married? Because, like a lot of, well, I would say that their argument, and I would agree, is that a lot of the females, if you will, they're not traditional females, right? And they want traditional results, as we were talking about earlier. But what do you think is the benefit for a guy to get married?
Yeah, I think a guy would absolutely see the benefit in getting married if he is not interested in being whatever age, right? From 15 to 60, you can be at a bar and you can go and meet people. And granted, it is so easy nowadays. You can take them home and have a great time with them at night. Like, that's just what it is. That's just what society is.
Right.
And it's sad, right? Because at the end of the day, all of these people are depressed. They try and find fulfillment. It never happens. And And they, even when they get that and they find their person, they're still not fulfilled at the end of the day, because it's like, we are not just, you know, in our bodies where we're just like flesh and blood, right? There's a spirit in us as well. And so like what binds us is family. Like God created us for family, and God created us to have a family and to have kids. And like everything in my view for men is to glorify God by making sure they have kids. Obviously, if you can. If not, of course, you know, completely understandable. But like, it's things like that where I don't think people value those things anymore, because what they value is just sexual relations with multiple women. And if that satisfies you, I can guarantee you it doesn't. At the end of the day, you can, you know, have your fun, but you're just left alone, bitter by yourself, with nothing and no one to attend to. And so I speak this in terms of like, also, even if you know, don't have faith in God or faith in Christ, like, my belief in what, you know, the Bible teaches me is you will still be left unsatisfied, because you can have a family, you can have a wife, you can have a kid or kids, and you will still be searching for something that will not fulfill you. So
Gotcha.
I think it's so important to make sure that you find that first, before even having a family and kids and things like that. Because the last thing that people want to do, I'm sure, is to break up that family, because they themselves don't have a good foundation. And to me, the good foundation is in Christ. So, yeah.
I got you. That's cool. So you, your answer would be like, a guy would have like the fulfillment of like having like compassion and like a family, you know. Okay, yeah, I get that. That makes a lot of sense. Last question. This is a funny question. Do you think that friends get? You don't seem like you have friends like that. Do you have a lot
I have
of
no
friends?
friends.
You don't?
Okay.
I think that's
I have
cool.
a few friends. I have a lot of friends that I have who I grew up with. So a lot of family friends, in terms of new friends, in terms of like high school, colleges. I mean, a lot of them just kind of like, even from work, for example, like they're acquaintances, they're friends, but do you hang out outside of that? Not really. So it's kind of more so those family friendships that I've had since, you know, I was born, essentially. Like, those are my friends that I keep.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Kind of the same with me, and I would say like friends. Sometimes I have 3 friends, so I would say, but I don't want more. Like I don't. Yeah, because would you agree that friends give bad advice? Well, like not friends that you know, not my 3 friends. You know,
everyone else.
Yeah, like
every other friend.
New people. Like that's all in this. You know, like because I said, like, if the world was right, there wouldn't be a 60% divorce rate, and it's only 60% because old people haven't gotten divorced yet. You know, if they just took 40 and under, it'll be like 80% or something, right?
I think more, honestly, at this point, which is crazy.
I feel like we won't admit that we're wrong as a society about things, and I just feel like friends give bad advice. Your mind, it doesn't seem like you have like friends like that, but it's a compliment, because I don't like having friends, because you know you'll fall into that 60 or 80%. You know? Would you agree with that? Or?
Would I agree with not having more friends, or would I agree with
like typically friends get bad advice?
Bad advice. You can have great friends, right, that have good intentions for you, and still give you bad advice. You know what I mean? Yeah. They have great intentions. They wish you the best. You hear what's coming out of their mouth, and you're like, I don't agree with that at all. At the end of the day, like, you can you do have to make your own judgment on things, because what works best for them is not going to work best for you. We're all different, but there is like a guideline to that. So I think that even though they have, like I said, good intentions on giving us good advice,
Yeah.
and they could be very good advice, and take that too, but just take everything with a grain of salt, because if they do have bad intentions for you, let's say, and they're your so-called friends, like, they're not going to care what happens to you and for you, right? So a good example would be like, you're single and you have a married friend and he's going through a bad, time with his wife. And you're like, oh, let's just go out and let's not care anymore. At that point, he could be like, okay, well, I'm going to get de-stressed about this. Like, it'll make me a better, husband if I just go and let loose for a little bit and just relax. But at the end of the day, that's not good advice for him.
True. True.
So I think we as people are very selfish, whether we think so or not. So you might think that you're helping him, but really it's just,
that's true,
doing the complete opposite.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. Really cool interview. I love your insight. Can I ask you, this is the last question for, what did you do for your birthday? How did you enjoy you just turned 30, how did you enjoy your birthday? What did you do?
Yeah, so yesterday morning I woke up, I went to church. That's the first thing I did. I wanted to make sure that I was in God's house for my birthday, thank him for everything, for another year. And then after that, I came home and me and my family went over to Orange Hill where we had a dinner. I opened some presents and I called it a day. If you would have asked me what I, would have wanted to do for my 30th birthday a few years ago, completely different story. I would have never told you I wanted to go to church. So yeah, it's crazy how time and life changes you. So yeah, it was a great birthday.
I got you. Yeah. So I'm not going to ask, what would your answer be 3 years ago? I'm not going to, I'll not ask that.
Okay. All of the worldly things that you can possibly think of. Yeah. So,
okay.
That should give you the answer. Yeah.
I got you. Mm-hmm. Well, you have a cool mind. You're very insightful in life. Mm-hmm. You have good experience that taught you a lot. You understand key things in life like that we change every 3 years, every 5 years. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to get you really, really far. I appreciate the interview. Yeah. It was one of the coolest interviews, and yeah, happy related birthday.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for
blessing going forward.
Thank you so much. It was nice speaking with you.
What was your name again?
Diana.
Levi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll cut it there.
Okay.
Do what I said.
Your phone is gonna die.
I know. I was looking at the red in there, seeing if it's still recording. And I was
okay. It didn't record anything. It's just.
Oh, don't say that.